The holidays are busy. Every year, you probably plan to make some thoughtful handmade gifts for the people you care about, but you just run out of time. This year, I'm going to show you that making gifts can be more fun, energizing, and even faster than shopping. I'll share 10 easy gifts you can sew this weekend, including things that can be batch sewn. Plus, I'll share links to full tutorials and a handy playlist for you. And the last gift in my list even has a free downloadable pattern, which makes it even easier. Let's start with some easy accessories. So the first gift is scrunchies. So here's why I love them. Scrunchies are really fast to sew, especially with the method we used. So we have another video where Haley shows you her extra special method for making scrunchies, and it's really, really fast. So I'll put that in the playlist link below. It's one of the most popular videos on our channel, so definitely check it out. Scrunchies are also really amazing scrap busters because you can use just about any fabric. They're also really easy to batch sew, so you can just take out all your scraps and make a whole bunch of them all at once for all your friends. So there are tons of different ways to sew them. You can make huge ones in silk organza, or you can make little tiny ones just for sleeping in. You can even add a bow or a tie like I did on this silk one. So this is the scrunchie that I use at home to sleep in because it doesn't pull my hair since it's made with silk. And I just used some scrap fabric from the Desi skirt that I made to make this. So definitely check out this video. It's the first one in the playlist below. The next gift I want to share is the Drew headband. So this is similar to the scrunchie in that it's really easy to batch sew, and again, you can use a huge variety of fabrics for this. So it's designed to be sewn in knits, and this one is sewn in a knit, but you can also sew it in a woven. I made this one in a woven rayon twill, and it came out just perfect. So really, you can use almost any fabric for this. It's really fast to sew, but it looks more complicated than it is because of the cool twist. One thing you can do is make a matching set. So you can make some scrunchies and make a headband just like this as a matching set for a friend or family member. I think it would look really beautiful in silk, or you can make it in a print like this, or I think it would also look really good in stretch velvet. And by the way, this also comes in 2 sizes, one for adults and one for kids. So no matter who you're making it for, you can find one that fits. All right, the next accessory gift I want to share is a classic necktie. What I love about handmade neckties is I just think it's a really awesome way of injecting some personality into what can be kind of a more formal outfit. So if you know somebody who frequently has to wear ties, making them a handmade necktie in their choice of fabric, their choice of prints, can be a really fun way to personalize what they're wearing. You can really just customize it to their favorite color, their favorite pattern, or even, their favorite hobby or passion. This is a great use for quilting cottons, so you can even go really kitschy and make a necktie that features kind of a conversational print that is something that matters to them, like, I don't know, dogs or Star Trek or whatever they're into. Another idea is to make a matching or a coordinating pocket square to go with it. So this one's in this fun quilting cotton, but this one's more in a classic chambray. I also really like a classic Liberty print. I think that looks really amazing for a necktie. Okay, so we talked about a few accessories. What about bags? Well, our next gift that I'm going to show you is a reversible tote bag. So these are my reversible totes, and I use these all the friggin' time. They're really easy to sew. They're super, super practical, and it's kind of like a twofer because you can reverse them and get another bag out of it. You can use these as grocery bags, you can use these as everyday bags, or I actually use these to tote things from my sewing shed back to the house. One of the really cool things about these is if you follow our tutorial, which we're gonna put in that playlist below, you can make these in just about any size you want. So you can make small ones or you can make big ones. If you wanted, you could even add a patch pocket and a contrasting fabric. So you could use the inner fabric, for example, here to make a pocket on the outside and vice versa. You could also make them even smaller and kind of make a matching set of produce bags to go with the grocery bags. So there's just tons and tons of uses for a tote bag. Our next gift idea is a device sleeve for your laptop or your other... All right, my next gift idea is a sleeve for your laptop or your tablet or your phone. These are, again, really, really easy to sew, and they're just great for protecting your devices, especially if you're just prone to throwing them in your bag like I often do. I think it'd be fun to make these in a really luxurious fabric like velvet. Or if you wanted to make this super, super simple, you could use a pre-quilted fabric. That way you've got the padding just automatically built in. You could also omit the zipper and just do a flap and put on a really cute tie to close it up. There's just lots and lots of different ways that you can sew these, and they make great gifts. All right, next I'm going to share some ideas for the kitchen. So these are great gifts for somebody who likes to cook, or somebody who likes to entertain, or somebody who just likes to dress up their kitchen. The first idea is a set of quilted placemats, or you could do a single hot pad like this, and or a set of coasters. So as far as hot pads go, I'm always looking for a place to set hot dishes in my kitchen personally. And I also use placemats every day at my own table. So whether you have a little bit of time and just want to sew a single hot pad, or you have more time, you can sew an entire set of placemats just like this. There are all kinds of fun things you can do with this if you think about it as like a tiny quilt. So anything you use in quilting, you can use on this little quilt. You could do a fun binding like we have here. You could do some improv quilting, so you could use up all your scraps to make a single placemat. You could also do a border all along the edge that's a little bit different, so stripes or something like that. The possibilities are really endless. So if you've been itching to make a quilt but don't have time, and I'm definitely in that boat lately, this is a great way to experiment with different quilt blocks and just kind of try out some different patterns. All right, next up we have napkins or tea towels. So these are actually my handmade napkins that I use every day. So these are my summer napkins and these are my fall and winter napkins right here. They're super easy to sew and I love that I can change them out seasonally. So there are a couple of different ways you can sew napkins. So I've done it a couple ways here. This one uses mitered corners, so it's just got a regular hem and then it's got mitered corners. And these have a contrasting binding all along the edge. So these ones are made in a Robert Kaufman gingham here, and then the edge, the border here, is made with a Liberty quilting cotton. And these are made with a plain homespun cotton. And the reason that I chose these particular fabrics is that these have a woven pattern on them, so they look the same from the front and the back. If you're making napkins, that's something you might want to think about. If it has a printed pattern on it, it's going to look different from the back. Another fabric that I really like to use, I actually have another set at home that are made from linen, and that's another really, really good choice. It just looks very luxurious. Another idea is just to make matching napkins to go with the placemat set that we just talked about. And again, if you want to learn about this project or any of the other projects I'm talking about, they'll all be in the playlist. The next gift I want to share is an apron, and specifically, it's the Seamwork Alex apron. All right, so the next gift I want to share is an apron, and specifically it's the Seamwork Alex apron. So aprons obviously might remind you of cooking first, but they're actually really useful for a whole bunch of different hobbies. So for example, if you have a loved one who gardens, you can make a gardening apron, or you could turn it into a workshop apron if you know somebody who does a lot of woodworking, or you can make an artist's apron for somebody who's a painter or a potter. So there are tons of different ways you can sew an apron and things that you can add to an apron depending on the final use it's going to get. I would use canvas or denim if it's going to be used in a more heavy application. But I think linen is a really, really wonderful choice for the kitchen, and so is cotton. Cotton ticking in particular has a really, really classic look for the kitchen. You can also do stripes or checks or just use a novelty print that really screams that person's name to you. And finally, I want to share some more things you can make for the recipient to wear, including one free pattern. Our next gift is the Almada robe. So this is a really, really pretty, elegant robe. And one thing I like about making robes is that because they're not fitted, you don't really have to know the person's exact size. You just have to have sort of a general idea of their size. And I just think the Almada is just really elegant and really easy to wear. I personally love this robe in a double gauze like this. So this is a Nani Eero double gauze, and it's just so soft and lovely. It's also beautiful in a really high quality cotton lawn. But if you wanted it to be really cozy, I think flannel would also be a really good choice. Personally, I don't know, I'd really love to get something like this. I think it would just make me feel really loved and cared for. Right, our next gift is the Seamwork Hansie top, which is a free pattern right now. So everyone loves this pattern because it's so fast to sew and it's a really great way to use a beautiful fabric. So many different fabrics work well for this top, even fabrics that you're not sure how to use, like this beautiful jacquard, which is kind of thick and puffy, but it works so well for this blouse. This is just something that's really, really fast and really easy to put together. It has a really generous fit, so it's pretty easy to get right when you're sewing for somebody else. Of course, you can always ask for their measurements if you really want to be sure. You could make this in, for example, a silk velvet if you wanted to make something really fancy that they could wear on New Year's Eve. I actually think a metallic lame or something like that would also be really, really cool, or even sequins. If you want something that's really easy to wear, a linen would be great, and a printed linen would be even more beautiful, I think. Again, this pattern is super versatile and it's totally free, so I'm going to put a link to that below. I also have a bonus idea for you. Have you ever tried using fabric instead of gift wrap? You can easily hem pieces of fabric to create a reusable gift wrap that can double as a scarf. I've included a link to a video all about that in the playlist. If you're wondering where to start with all the ideas, just pick out one or two that you like and then head over to our playlist to find all the tutorials and how-tos.